Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2020 Reorganization meeting of the Hanover Township Committee. And it's a pleasure to welcome you on behalf of the Township Committee for a very healthy and happy new year. And this year is a milestone in the history of Hanover Township. You see the seal back here. In 2020, we will be celebrating the 300th anniversary of the founding of Hanover Township. So, and I'm sure that Committeeman Cahill, who serves as the liaison to the Landmark Commission, may be discussing that a little bit because there will be, hopefully, some events planned by the Landmark Commission as we celebrate the founding of this great municipality, one of the oldest in the state of New Jersey. And of course, we have the oldest cemetery in northern New Jersey, the Whippany Burying Yard, that was founded in 1719. So that's a milestone for Hanover Township as well. So we're going to begin our formal proceedings at this time, ladies and gentlemen. And in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, we've provided written notice to the Daily Record, the Hanover Eagle, the Star Ledger. We've posted the notice on the bulletin board of the Township of Hanover and on the Township's website. So at this time, I would call the roll for the members that are seated here this evening. And to my left, Committeeman Faramasca.
Here.
To my immediate right, Committeeman Nahalko.
Here.
And to his left, Committeeman Cahill.
Here.
So we have 3 members in attendance until we do the formal swearing in. So at this time, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome the pastor of the Whippany Presbyterian Church, and that is Sarah Karate. And Reverend Karate will lead us in the invocation. So thank you very much for being with us, Pastor Karate.
Thank you for inviting me. Let us pray together. Divine One, Holy One, thank you for bringing us into this brand new year. We thank you for the joy of enjoyment of family and friends, and we thank you for the joy it is to live and work and serve in Hanover Township. You, O God, are a builder of cities, a molder of mountains, a planter of fields and fields of seeds. And so in this new year, we give you thanks for all the ways we see your hands at work, building and planting and lifting up here in Hanover. We thank you for the service of so many who take care of our town, for those who take care of our roads and our parks and our schools, for those who provide opportunities for recreation, for those who take care of our sanitation. And we thank you, O God, for all who are called, truly called, in leadership on this council. So we ask that you'll send your Spirit upon the leadership of this town in this brand new year. Give them all the gifts of your Spirit that they need to lead well. Give them steadfastness and faithfulness. Make them servants so that all in this town might know safety and protection and prosperity and the joy of being a community together. We pray all of these things in your holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Karate. Appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, will you kindly rise? And at this time, it's always a distinct pleasure and honor to welcome members of the Hanover Township Veterans Alliance, which will lead us in the posting of the colors and the Pledge of Allegiance. Gentlemen.
I ask forward march. Post colors. present arms. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
2. Recover. About face. Port arms. And a half step. Forward, march, left, left, left. Hold. Left, face. Forward, march, left, left, left.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would ask you to give a great round of applause. Thank you very much. Please be seated. Okay, our first order of business this evening, for notification from the Board of County Canvassers. This is the statement of determination. A statement of determination of the Board of Canvassers relative to an election held in the Township of Hanover, County of Morrison, State of New Jersey, for the election of certain municipal officers for the municipality on the 5th day of November 2019. The said board does determine that at the said election, Ronald F. Francioli was elected to serve a 3-year term of office as a member of the Township Committee. That Thomas Ace Gallagher was also elected to serve a term of 3 years as a member of the Township Committee. And the second statement of determination reads as follows. A statement of determination of the Board of Canvassers relative to a school election held in the County of Morrison, State of New Jersey, for the election of certain school board members for the municipality of Hanover Park Regional and Hanover Township on the 5th day of November 2019. The said board does determine at the said election the following: that Daniel J. Breen shall serve as a member of the Board of Education, the local Board of Education, for a 3-year term. That Stephen Furta will serve as a member of the local Board of Education for a 3-year term. And that Patricia Mattia will also serve a 3-year term as a member of the local Board of Education. So these are filed in the Office of the Business Administrator, Township Clerk. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we will administer the oaths of office to Mr. Francioli and to Mr. Gallagher. So I would ask at this time for Mr. Francioli to step forward and his lovely wife Carol to hold the Bible. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Ronald F. Francioli,
I, Ronald F.
do
Francioli,
solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of New Jersey,
and the state of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and this state
and the state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of the office of Township Committee
all the duties of the office of Township Committee,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. At this time, I would ask that Deputy Township Clerk Catherine I step forward to administer the oath of office to Thomas A. Gallagher.
I, Thomas A. Gallagher,
I, Thomas A. Gallagher,
solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of New Jersey,
and the state of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly perform
all the duties of the office
of
Township Committee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you very much. Joe, thank you. Brian, don't give me sick. Mike, please.
Getting a little lonely outside.
Well, if you don't come down here.
Okay, as we continue, ladies and gentlemen, with our business, it's now time for the governing body to appoint a temporary chairman. So may we have a
I'll make a
motion?
motion to appoint Mr. Giorgio as temporary chairman. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so as we continue, the next portion of business, of course, will be the selection of a member of the Township Committee to serve as the chairman of the board. And it's been something that I've done every year for the past 38 years to just give a little civics lesson to everyone who is in attendance about Township Committee form of government, which is one of the oldest forms of government in the state of New Jersey, going back to the 17th century. And the fact that we have 565 municipalities, so it's a little difficult to imagine that we have all these municipalities and different forms of government. But just so you're aware about what the Township Committee is all about. So I'm just going to read to you directly from the statute to give you a flavor of what Township Committee does in very concise terms. So first of all, it says, at their annual meeting, the Township Committee shall have the power and authority to elect one of their member as chairman of the committee, who shall preside at all meetings of the Township Committee, and who shall be known as the mayor of the township. The mayor shall have no additional authority by virtue of such designation except as otherwise provided by law or this act. And then it continues with general powers of the mayor. Every township governed by the township form of government pursuant to this act shall, subject to the provisions of this act or other general law, have full power to exercise all powers of local government in such manner as to the committee may determine. The mayor shall have all those powers placed in the mayor by general law, and the mayor shall preside at meetings of the committee and shall have the right to debate and vote on all questions before the committee. So there are other powers of the Township Committee as well, especially establishing the budget and appointing individuals to serve on various boards, which the Township Committee will be doing this evening. So that just gives you a little flavor of Township Committee form of government and what the position of mayor is all about. At this time, we're going to call upon Mr. Francioli as the outgoing chairperson to make some comments. So I would ask at this time to turn it over to Mr. Francioli.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. And good evening, everyone. Our friends here and our associates. A healthy, happy New Year. I have just a brief comment to make before we begin the proceedings. I've asked the members of the Township Committee to allow me to make my year-end comments to you somewhat out of order ahead of the nominations for chair. I think many of you certainly will understand the remarks I'm about to make. This past week and over the past months, there have been numerous comments made on social networks regarding my Hanover Township benefits after 27 years of service, my financial campaign filings which were factual, were manipulated to discredit me and Hanover, and somewhat deserved. Let me be specific with respect to my 2019 campaign donations, and here are the facts. All campaign donations received by me were in complete accordance with the election laws of the state of New Jersey. All the contributions made by donors to me are a public record, were filed with the New Jersey Election Enforcement Commission, and I have fully, transparently complied reporting all of the contributions over all my years of elected office. Donations from supporters, be it to the township businesses or residents, are permitted and are part of the political process. I have no business affiliations with any of them. I do not consort with any of them, and any comments to the contrary are fabrications. I have served Hanover as an elected and appointed official for over 40 years. And now my past record moving Hanover forward speaks for itself. Several years ago, you may remember attempts to bribe me in supporting a zone change. It failed. I reported it to the Morris County prosecutor, and those involved were prosecuted. This election period, I've come under personal attack by a few very vocal people who would credit me with dominating this committee and other committees. They carefully orchestrated a campaign attacking me and attaching me to the fair share housing matters that were obligated to address by the court and that I did not lead. Further, they had political intimidations of members of this township committee in an attempt to coerce votes. Regarding fair share housing, this township committee, thank you, had insulated me from any contact with any and all property owners involved as interveners, and to that end formed a subcommittee for that purpose. But as one of the committeemen does describe me, you remain the lightning rod for the Township Committee. In closing, we all live here. These gentlemen all raise their children here. We try in every way to represent you in the best of Hanover. I hope that each and every one of our residents will turn to the positive side of solutions for Hanover rather than engaging in innuendos and manipulative information. This is not representative of the majority of our township. Want to make a change? Do it right. The administrator, sitting right next to me, has petitions. You can pick them up, get the proper amount of signatures. In a few weeks, with the votes, you'll sit here. Thank you. Mr. Administrator. Thank you for that.
As we continue, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for members of the Township Committee to nominate and select a new chairman for 2020. So at this time, do we have any nominations?
Yes, we do. I nominate Ronald F. Francioli as chairman and mayor of the Township Committee.
We have a second to that nomination.
I'll second that.
Second nomination, we have the second to the nomination. Are there any other nominations?
Move to close nominations.
Motion to close, and we'll now take a vote on the nomination on the selection of Ronald F. Francioli as chairman of the board for calendar year 2020. On roll call, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Ferramasi.
Aye.
Mr. Mahalko.
Yes.
Mr. Cahill.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes. Thank you, gentlemen. Let me thank my colleagues on this committee for their continued support and faith in me as the chair. After some 40-plus years on this committee, many of them representing the governing body, they know that I fully intend to fulfill the office through a smooth transition period through the critical time of budget and retire the chair to fill out my complete term going forward for 3 years. I would then hope that the committee supports the nomination of Deputy Mayor John Ferramasi to become chair and continue in the path of strong fiscal management, quality services, balanced redevelopment and growth for all that we enjoy here in Hanover. The issue of selecting a chairman of this committee has always been contentious. Year after year, most members want that honor. I cannot say that is so where Deputy Mayor Ferramasi is concerned. He's experienced, fulfills the time commitments, and is well prepared to carry on this chair. Finally, let me comment my opinion on one other area. Arguments have been brought forward for rotation of Township Committee. Township Committee has that prerogative to rotate. But let me say this, the argument for rotation of a committee member to the chair is not one that I would support. The democratic process of nominating has been working for Hanover Township for countless years. It should work for our sister communities as well, and it has in their selections over this past year. But moving ahead, the committee has decided to put a method in place that will resolve some of this contentious matters, and I appreciate their working on that. Having said that, turn the meeting back over to the administrator for
Thank you, Mayor.
further
At this
comment.
time now, we will again formalize this next portion of the meeting. We're turning the gavel over to Mayor Francioli. Mayor, if you want to do the honors.
Adequate notice of this January the 3rd, 2020 meeting, and by the way, don't write 2020, meeting has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by posting written notice and agenda of the meeting on the bulletin board, the Municipal Building, 1000 Route 10, Township of Hanover, and by hand delivering, mailing, or faxing such notice and agenda to the following newspapers: Morris County's Daily Record, the Star Ledger, Hanover Eagle, and by filing same with the Township Clerk. Roll call.
On roll call, Committeeman Gallagher.
Aye.
Committeeman Ferramasi. Committeeman Mahalko.
Aye.
Committeeman Cahill.
Aye.
And Mayor Francioli.
Here.
5 members in
You have
attendance,
prayer?
sir.
No, we did pray.
You have a prayer?
No, we did pray.
You did, okay. That's fine. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the next order of business on your agenda will be the appointment of volunteers, members of the community, residents, who take the time and effort to serve, actively participate on many of the committees that we have. So at this time, we'll read into the record the different appointments, the new appointments, and then take a vote at the end of all the appointments. For a 1-year term as Township Attorney, Fred Samrow, Esquire, and the firm of Dorsey and Samrow. As the independent auditors for the Township of Hanover, Catherine Mantell and the firm of Nisavaccia. Deputy Township Clerk, Catherine Iacuzzi. Municipal Prosecutor, 1-year term, Peter King. Alternate Municipal Prosecutor, 1-year term, Douglas Cabana. The substitute alternate municipal prosecutors in all the 38 municipalities in the event that Mr. King and Mr. Cabana cannot attend a court session. Public Defender, 1-year term, John Barbarola. Alternate Public Defender, Dino Mabelli. Court Administrator Staff, all 1-year terms. Lauren Dalgauer as the Court Administrator. Full-time Deputy Court Administrators, Amy Jones, 1 year. 1 year, Denise Buey. Linda DiArcangel, 1-year term. Those are all the deputies. And part-time Violations Clerk, 1-year term, Kayla Wrigley. The CFO, Treasurer, Utilities Collector, and Tax Search Officer, 1-year term, Silvio Esposito. Assessment Search Officer, 1-year term, Gerardo Macera. Affirmative Action Public Agency Compliance Officer, 1-year term, Joseph A. Giorgio. Americans with Disabilities Act Coordinator, 1-year term, Joseph A. Giorgio. Commissioner to the North Jersey Health Benefits Fund, 1-year term, Silvio Esposito. Commissioner to the Morris County Joint Insurance Fund, Silvio Esposito. Alternate Commissioner, Mark Roddy. The Community Development Revenue Sharing Program Committee, Block Grant Program members, 1-year terms, Gerardo Macera, David Leo, Denise Brennan, and Joseph A. Giorgio. To the Morris County Airport Advisory Committee, 1-year terms, Kenneth C. Schleifer, Thomas Gallagher, Ronald F. Francioli. To the Hanover Sewerage Authority for a 5-year renewal of term, William Keener. To the Planning Board, which is now, the municipal land use law requires that the mayor, chairman of the board, serves as a Class 1 member of the Planning Board. That will be Ronald F. Francioli. And also the Class 3 member of the Planning Board, also required a member of the Township Committee to serve, will be John L. Faramasca. To the Board of Adjustment, these are renewals for 4-year terms, Richard Hingos Jr. and James Neidhart. Regular members to the Environmental Commission, all 3-year terms, Philip Glowy, Dennis Fisciano, and Claire Matlin. Regular members to the Landmark Commission, 4-year term, Barbara Blumenfeld. The alternate 2 position to the Landmark Commission, Michael Knaus. On the Cultural Arts Committee, we have 2 vacancies at this time because of resignations, but the following are regular members: Edward Abalou, Sue Augenbaugh, Inga Caratenuto, Lois Leventhal, Jane Marie Schrader, and Annie May. Recreation Commission, a 5-year term, that's by statute, a 5-year statutory term, Peter Birkenkamp. Representative to the Whippany River Watershed Action Committee, a 1-year term, Dennis Dietrich, and we have 1 vacancy. Now, the emergency management positions, the coordinator, 3-year term, Thomas Quirk. Members of the Office of Emergency Management, all 1-year terms, as follows: Peter Birkenkamp, Joseph Giorgio, Paul Miller, Carlos Perez, Joseph Courtwright, Chad DiGiorgio, Michael Locke, David White, James Davidson, Howard Olson, Dale Cowley, Sean Waldron, Jack Koba, Robert Lake, and Thomas Quirk III. Economic Development Advisory Committee, 1-year term, John Faramasca as representative from the Planning Board, also serving as liaison from the Township Committee, Ronald Francioli. Regular members, 2-year terms, Daniel Breen, Robert Bruno, Richard Campbell, Thomas Hablitzel, Arthur Linfanti, Anthony Facchino, Jeffrey Struble, Susan Shannon, Christopher Conklin, 2 years as alternate 1. Alternate 2, 1-year term, Maria Florio. Alternate 3, a two-year term of office, Paul Elias. Alternate 4, two-year term of office, Jean Potke. 5-year term of office, 1 year, Nadia Mion. And we had a vacancy, alternate 6, Christopher Matisek will fill the vacancy of alternate 6. Substance Awareness Council, these are all 1-year terms of office. Karen Perry, Tracy Medwin, David Rubin, Peter Birkenkamp, Angela Freeman, Lisa Hall, Kim Knaus, Chantel Miliziano, Howard Olson, Trish Martin. Continuing members of the Substance Awareness Council.
Please begin. I'm going to excuse Committeeman Ace Gallagher. He has a commitment tonight beyond this. He's going to be a part of the Men in Arenas Friday Night Skate from the Coalition of Positive Choices. So on that note, Ace, if you want to make good your escape.
Guys, thank you. Take care, everybody. Thank you. Happy New Year.
Okay. Yeah.
As we continue with the appointments to the Substance Awareness Council, these are all 1-year terms. Amy Giordano, Rebecca Naylor Teslas, Dana Ash Lothian, Grace Jacobson, Kristen Dakic, Deja Paragon, Sibylla Dubak, Brian Palumbo, and Thomas Gallagher will serve as liaison to SAC. The Green Team Advisory Committee, all 1-year terms. Severio Iannacone, Philip Glaoui, John Ferramasca, Dennis Dietrich, Annie May, David Leo, John Hendricks, Dennis Wilson, Dennis Fasciano, and Claire Matlin. To the Board of Health, statutory 3-year terms, Marlene Peterson and Antonino Intelli Jr., alternate 1, 3-year term, Ronald F. Francioli as the alternate and also liaison to the Board of Health. As you know, we have police officers assigned to each of our local schools in the district, and we have Class 3 Special Law Enforcement officers, 1-year terms of office, Antoine Atemi, Dominic Mancini, Timothy P. Franks, and also John W. Bannon. So at this time, may we have a motion on the approval of all of the appointments to the boards and commissions?
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Francioli, seconded by Mr. Ferramasca. On roll call, Mr. Ferramasca.
Aye.
Mr. Mahalko.
Yes.
Mr. Cahill.
Yes.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the next portion of business, under the Township Committee form of government, the mayor has the prerogative to appoint members to the planning board with the advice and consent of the Township Committee. So at this time, Mayor, if you want to introduce the nominees.
While these are known as mayor's appointments, and I always make this comment, these appointments are considered by all members of the Township Committee, and these are ratified by all members of the Township Committee. So going forward on that, a Class 4 member of 4 years, Eugene Pinadella. A Class 4 member, 4 years, Robert Nardone is being replaced by Howard Olson. Howard is an alternate moving into a member position. A Class 4 alternate 1, Phil Glau. A Class 4 alternate 2, Charles Monzo. And finally, a Class 2 member, J. William Byrne. So those are the appointments.
And may we have a motion on the acceptance of those nominations? We have a motion by Mr. Ferramasca.
Second.
Second by Mr. Cahill. On roll call, Mr. Ferramasca.
Aye.
Mr. Mahalko.
Yes.
Mr. Cahill.
Yes.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So approved by the Township Committee. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the consent agenda, and I will spare you reading those resolutions into the record because I'm tired, so we'll forego that. But I would ask on the consent agenda, the resolutions on page 2, a motion to approve those consent agenda resolutions.
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Ferramasca.
Second.
Second by Mr. Mahalko. On roll call, Mr. Ferramasca.
Aye.
Mr. Mahalko?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli? And we've done the appointments by the mayor to the planning board. And at this time, we'll have Mr. Francioli announce the assignments to all the standing committees.
Each year, we all take responsibility for various committees as committeemen and liaisons, and I'll announce these as follows. The chairman of the Township Committee is also Director of Administration, Director of Finance, Personnel Violations Bureau, Municipal Court, Class 1 Planning, member of the Board of Health, alternate 1, member of ex officio, member to EDAC, Economic Development Advisory Committee, and member of the Farm and Garden, Stony Brook Farm and Garden Committee as well, and that would be myself, Ron Francioli. On the 7th day, he rested. The liaison to the Whippany Library, myself, Ronald F. Francioli, and Michael A. Mahalko, who supports me on that. The vice chair is Deputy Mayor, Director of Planning and Zoning, Engineering Departments, Class 3 Planning Board member, liaison to Economic Development Advisory, Environmental Commission and Green Team is John L. Faramasca. The Director of Department of Public Works, Buildings and Grounds, Park Maintenance, Property Maintenance Office, liaison to Cultural Arts and Committee and Substance Awareness Council, and Bid Reception Committee is Committeeman Thomas A. Gallagher. Director of Recreation and Parks Administration Department, liaison to Open Space Advisory Committee, and the liaison to the Southeast Morris Committee Utilities Association, and liaison to the Senior Citizens Club and the Veterans Alliance, and the Senior Citizens Club loves them. Michael A. Mahalko. Okay. Building Department, liaison to the Police Department, Board of Fire Commissioners, Office of Emergency Management, Hanover Sewerage Authority, and Landmark Commission, Committeeman Brian J. Cahill. Liaison to local and regional school boards, Thomas A. Gallagher and Brian J. Cahill. Liaison to School and Park Traffic Safety Advisory Subcommittee, Thomas A. Gallagher, Brian J. Cahill. Liaison to the Morris County Airport Advisory Committee, again, would be Kenneth C. Schleifer, Thomas A. Gallagher, and myself, Ron Francioli. So, thank you, Mr. Administrator. That's it.
May we have a motion on the approval of all of the committee assignments? So moved. So moved by Mr. Faramasca.
Second?
Second by Mr. Mahalko. On roll call, Mr. Faramasca.
Aye.
Mr. Mahalko.
Yes.
Mr. Cahill.
Aye.
And Mr. Francioli.
Aye.
So approved.
Very good. At this time, gentlemen, we take this moment to give comments to our community as to the state of Hanover and how we're doing in our various departments. I know Committeeman Gallagher had to leave and has no remarks for us at this time, but I'm going to start. Brian, do you want to begin?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. Okay, so it's been a pretty exciting year here in Hanover for a number of reasons, but one of them is my ability or my pleasure to not only support what's going on and what's new in town, but also preserving and enhancing what is old. The Hanover Township Landmark Commission, led by Mike Chernick, works tirelessly to preserve and restore one of the most historic treasures, the Whippany Burying Yard. Over the course of the year, the Commission has held several events, tours at the Burying Yard, and conducted many talks on the history of Hanover at several different venues. But most notable this year, for the first time, the Commission members delivered a program to our 8th graders at Memorial Junior School, which began with lectures in the auditorium and culminated for some with a field trip to the Burying Yard itself. So coming in 2020, as Mr. Giorgio had alluded to, it's going to be a big year. 300-year anniversary of Hanover Township. The Landmark Commission has been talking about this for well over 6 months once we got past the Burying Yard anniversary. So look for a number of activities, a number of surprises. I think the only hint I'll give you right now is there's a lot of talk about maybe doing some special things around Hanover Township Day, and I think that would be really fantastic. So incredible group of volunteers. I really look forward to working with them in 2020, and I thank all of them. Moving on, the Hanover Sewerage Authority continues to be one of the top performing treatment plants in the nation. It's gone 30 plus years without a violation. This is just unheard of. As the state continues to impose new and more stringent rules, HSA has managed to leverage their expertise and existing infrastructure to meet these new requirements, all while keeping keeping rates relatively flat. So this is really all possible thanks to the hard work and dedication of our Executive Director, Mike Wynn, Superintendent Peter Terrell, and Executive Secretary Lauren Abrams, as well as the entire staff, incredible staff that maintains over 80 miles of piping throughout Hanover Township and keeps a plant that processes millions of gallons of treated water every day running at peak efficiency. The Hanover Township Building Department, led by Sean Donnellan and an outstanding staff of administrators and inspectors, has had another busy year. Issuing over 1,200 permits, COs, and site plan exemption applications, the team has generated close to $900,000 in fees and fines. Gearing up in 2020, Sean's team will be preparing for incoming projects and what we'll be facing in the coming years. From a public safety perspective, there's been a lot of activity as well. Construction work is about to resume again on the new Whippany Firehouse, designed to support the township for the next 100 years. The new facility should be in operation by the end of the year. And as most of us know, Cedar Knolls Fire Department marked its 100th year anniversary in 2019 by hosting an incredible celebration event right beside the firehouse. So I look forward to working closely with our fire and EMS first responders as the township's needs continue to evolve. Hanover Township Police have been very active, not only in their role protecting our residents, but also being good members of our community. In addition to responding to almost 40,000 calls in 2019, you would often see them at our schools assisting our SROs during drop-off and pickup or delivering various educational programs at every grade level. On Halloween, you might have seen officers handing out candy to the neighborhood children. And at Christmas, they kicked off their own Toys for Tot program, which was very, very successful. Safety on our roads is still, continues to be a priority as HPD continues to participate in programs such as Click It or Ticket, Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over, and Share the Keys. These officers, led by Chief Roddy, do incredible work, and I do look forward to supporting them in any way I can in 2020. Sticking with public safety, I should also mention and thank Tom Quirk for his role in the OEM, as a leader of the OEM, and all of those volunteers that work with him. They do a great job, particularly around inclement weather, making sure that we have our heating stations up and places to go. Right on cue. TQ.
Speaking about Tom Kirk, I'm here.
You want me to start over, buddy? Anyway, thank you, Tom, and the OEM team. On a more personal note, I'd like to thank my wife, Susan, and my children, Ryan, Kyle, and Alyssa, for their support. This is a busy job, and sometimes I can't be there when perhaps I should be. I also want to thank Joe, Krista, Silvio, Jerry, Blaze, Bill, and Fred for their tireless efforts in supporting this committee and the citizens of Hanover. A lot of extra hours. It's not a 9-to-5 job, and it really does not go unappreciated, for sure. Lastly, I want to thank my fellow committeemen. Together, we've had to make some very difficult decisions, many of which have not been very popular among some in our community. They've not been easy for us either. We live here, our children go to school here, and we sit in the same traffic that you do. Simply put, we share the same concerns as everyone else. But at the end of the day, we, all 5 of us, together, are doing what we believe is best for Hanover under sometimes very difficult circumstances. Some issues are very complex and simply cannot be explained in the social media post. I encourage everyone to refrain from getting their information solely from Facebook. Not only is it often uninformed and slanted towards personal agendas, it is also sometimes just simply not true. I only ask that before making a conclusion on a particular topic or an action by this committee, visit our website and read the official information that we do our very best to post in a timely fashion. If you can't find what you need there, call the township or reach out to one of us. So to conclude, I believe Hanover is in a critical time and place with regard to how we grow and evolve. I know there will be some critical strategies and decisions required of this committee in the coming years, and I believe that by continuing to serve beyond 2020, I can help preserve many of the things that are special about Hanover Township while still fostering new growth and opportunity in as a controlled fashion as possible. With that said, it's my intention to run for a second term as committeeman in the 2020 election. And I'm hoping the committeeman to my right is thinking the same thing. We'll see. With that, I want to wish everybody a happy new year, happy and healthy new year, and thank you very much.
Committeeman Michael Mahalko, Director of Recreation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, it's been my pleasure. I'd like to start off first by the thank yous. I need to start with my wife and family and friends first. Without them, their love, their support and understanding, I could never do this and all that needs to be done, nor would I want to. If they weren't behind me, this would be meaningless. So I really want to thank them. And unfortunately, again, my wife is not here tonight. My little one's at basketball practice, and I'm going to have a friend shuttle them around. So it really does takes a village sometimes. And I do get a lot of help from my friends and family in that respect. So I do want to thank them. I'd also like to thank Mr. Giorgio and Krista DiGiorgio for all that you guys do, for keeping us in line, keeping us organized. Thank you very much. You do a great job. Fred Samarow and Rob, their firm is incredible. They've really had their handful this year. Thank them. Also our professional staff, Jerry in engineering, Blaze, Silvio in finance, Bill Byrne, they all do a terrific job, again, keeping us well informed, keeping the information current. Our committeemen, my fellow committeemen, we don't always see eye to eye, and that's probably why our meetings go on so long sometimes. But it's through our different perspectives that we all work well together. So I want to thank them, and for their patience. There's been often times where we've beaten things to death and it's moved and we kick it again. But again, we have 5 different perspectives that come forward, and I think there's a good working here. And again, we don't always all agree, but we do get to a good point. On to my details. I truly do enjoy my details. Let me start first. I see Mr. Capola here. Thank you very much. The seniors have been very gracious. It's a wonderful group. I can't stress enough. If you're of age, please check them out. They're, again, a great group. There's almost 300 of them. They meet twice a month. They go on monthly trips. There's dinners, there's shows. And I really do enjoy working with them, answering their questions whenever I can, and helping them out. Again, thank you very much. They've always been very welcoming. I also want to say good luck to Ken Oxley. He'll be the new president next year at the Senior Citizens. Open space is my next detail. I see the Bryans in the back. It's a pleasure working with the Bryans. Brian Foran and Brian DePrimo. We do a great job. It's, another area that is near and dear to my heart. We were able to get 2 playgrounds installed this year. One defunct at Bee Meadow, which was falling apart. We got that up and going, and it turned out to be beautiful, and we're even considering adding some more to it, keep it going. And then also the other at Vets Field, in between. Again, residents came, said there was a need, and we addressed it. We went out and got it done. So we got a couple more field playgrounds going. And we got some exciting stuff coming in 2020. Really looking forward again to working with those gentlemen and with the open space. Thank you to our veterans. We saw them earlier. They do an awesome job. Another wonderful group of people. It's my pleasure to work with. Last Memorial Day parade was a terrific event as always, and for so many years they put on such a wonderful, wonderful program. I'd also like to thank Jim Len. Jim is here faithfully almost every time, and does the reporting for us. Thank you, Jim, and Rob also. Thank you guys. You do a great job and keeping it straight for us. Thank you very much. I'm going to cue the video. So you don't have to continue to hear me ramble on. My final, I'm the Director of Recreation. It's a terrific assignment that I have. The Recreation Department, made up by Superintendent Denise Brennan. See Denise in the back, and her husband, our favorite volunteer. Thank you all both very much. You guys do an awesome job. Assistant Superintendent and Program Coordinator Tom Quirk. Senior Clerk Dinah Schill. Recreation Clerk Jamie Getzinger. And our dispatchers, Mary Nemick and Brittany Heffler. Our Recreation does a great job. In conjunction with that, there's the Recreation Commission. And I just want to point out them real quick also. Led by Jim Coyle, he's the president. Pete Berkenkamp, Matt Giorgio, Bob Bruno, Gabriella Solis, Pete Monteverdi, and our 2 new members, Tanya Tasso and C.J. Engelberger. Again, another great crew. They're out there helping us out and really directing, getting things going. While we're waiting...
Are you ready?
I'm ready when you are. That's not what we like to hear.
That's not what I want.
What we're going to see is a slideshow put together by Denise. She did a great job. There's so many things that go on with recreation. If not, Denise is going to come up and act them out for us. There's so many things, and I think a slideshow is really the best way to see. We have so many things that go on. As the slideshow goes, I'll try to comment on different slides as I see them, just to kind of give you a little background, and really stalling for time now.
It's not working.
Try a little shadow art? What do you want to do?
Hand puppets? Hand puppets?
It won't work.
Try kicking it.
It won't come up.
Okay. So,
So we'll be upgrading our computers this year.
yeah, we're upgrading our computers. Then let me just go through it quickly.
Let's cut to a commercial.
Commercial. If you get it going, we'll go from there. Again, our recreation, I'll just hit the high points for you. Our community center, we try not to call it a rec center because it's more than just recreation. So many things go on at our rec center. Over 22,000 people through last year come through our recreation center, our community center. And it's not just athletics. We had the town hall meeting from our Congresswoman, Mikey Sherrill. She was there. Fire Academy graduations, the Veterans Breakfast, Chinese New Year celebration, cultural arts events all the time. Just FYI, January 26th is the Chinese New Year celebration again, this coming up. Santa Claus is coming to town, Peter Cottontail. Other projects that we have going on, we have the Township Mayor's Wellness Program, sponsored, in 2020 we'll be looking to introduce the Hit the Trail program, sponsored by Wegmans. It's a walking program provides incentive from Wegmans to go out and walk our parks. So that's it's a really nice picture coming up from Wegmans. They're going to be sponsoring some trails for us. Hanover Township. In Hanover Township, our recreation had over 300 campers in our Summer Plus program. That's grades 1 through 6. So 300 kids were able to take advantage of that. Our traveling teens, which is grades 7, 8, and 9, was at capacity again for all 3 sessions. This features trips, day trips to things like the Yankee games, Statue of Liberty, Jenkinson's, Broadway shows, and other local attractions. We have a lot of specialty camps that go on also, such as our bacon camp, drama camp, Lego camp. The drama camp this year put on a rendition of 101 Dalmatians. It was a terrific show put on by the youngsters. Another entity is the Youth Public Safety Academy, held in July. It's a 2-week program where students from 8th, 9th, and 10th grade participate in classes and trips, providing hands-on and learning about emergency services. So they're trained by our firemen and our policemen. They come out, demonstrate them, and really gives them some hand-on experience with that type of stuff. In addition, we have a lot of trips that go on. We have the Paper Mill Playhouse, the Millburn, trips to Broadway. Later in the winter, we go to Rutgers, and there's a trip that goes to see a Big Ten basketball game and also a Rutgers wrestling match. Patriotics celebrations, fireworks. At our fireworks celebrations, we had 11 food trucks, 2 inflatables, carnival games, concert by the Infernos. It was a well-attended, probably one of our best. I think we estimated almost 2,000 people at that event. While we're going on our events, Hanover Township Day. Hanover Township Day, we had 29 committees, commissions, and groups, associations. The crowd topped over 4,000 people at our Hanover Township Day this year. Also in July, we have our Monday night concert series. So every Monday night in July, we put on a concert over at the Brickyard Field. Boy Scouts run the concession stand and for their fundraiser organization. Last thing brings us to the Bee Meadow Pool. It's one of our true gems that we have in our town. I want to point out Eddie Cashin. He does a terrific job organizing the kids, organizing the adults. He really puts a lot of time and effort into it, way above and beyond. The activities, everything from family swim nights, noodle nights, movie nights, summer carnival, bingo. We had our 2nd annual cardboard boat regatta, which is a hilarious event. It's great to see. We've added a Gaga pit over there, which, for you guys that don't know, ask your kids. There's a lot of stuff that's going, and we're actually looking to put some more in. Engineering has said that we're going to get a new slide in, and probably even a rock wall. So we have some new amenities going in over at the pool. Let me just sum this up. Again, it's my pleasure, it's my honor to work with the town and work with all of these terrific people. They do a great job. I'd like to thank everyone for their support and trust as I complete my second year of service. Hopefully, I've lived up to expectations and represented our community the best of my abilities. In the coming year, I will ask for your continued support, and I will be running again for another term.
Thank you.
And will continue to be accessible and as available as possible to address any of your concerns and issues. Again, I look forward to serving you in the future.
Excellent, Mike. Excellent.
Sure.
You heard this morning.
One of the things he didn't add to his list is the new PowerPoint system.
Yeah.
On that note, Deputy Mayor John Faramasca. John?
Mike, you were better live than the video.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Sorry.
Happy New Year to all and blessings to all. My New Year's message really focuses on what I call the 3 R's: recognition, reflection, and resolutions. So beginning with the word recognition. There's a lot of people who make things happen around here. And they're the department heads, they're the members of the staff, they're the board leaders. These are the real heroes of Hanover Township. The planning board, the board of adjustment. We have Blaise Branchow, Kimberly Maggiorno. We have a chairman, Gene Pinadella. We have a chairman in the board of adjustment, Ben Stanziel. Engineering, led by Jerry Massera, David Leo, and the entire professional staff. We have an EDAC chairman who also does double duty as a Board of Ed member in Dan Breen. We have an environmental chair with Dennis Wilson and Green Chairman Phil Glowy. All of them do a terrific job serving you, the residents of Hanover Township. Special thanks at this time also goes out to our business administrator, Mr. Giorgio, and his staff, Mayor Francioli, and my fellow committeemen for their support in keeping Hanover Township a great, affordable place to live. Special recognition, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank and demonstrate my appreciation to my wife Kathy for all of her support, her counsel, and what I call gourmet-like meeting night dinners while handling the bulk of the household responsibilities while I spend a few hours serving you in meetings in Hanover Township. For reflections, one phrase clearly stands out. Great things happen in Hanover Township. You begin by thinking about what EDAC has done for us. EDAC continued to assist the township in an advisory role by proactively fostering responsible commercial revitalization in this town. And the benefit of that is to expand and strengthen Hanover's economy through a partnership with local governments, business, and community to improve your personal bottom line so that we can deliver you the very most efficient and effective government and lowest taxes as possible. We welcome Barclays Bank expansion this year. We welcome new Hanover Commons, retail buildings across from ShopRite. Fine local shopping. Please support them. We welcome 24-hour fitness within the Wegmans Retail Shopping Center. We also welcome a new state-of-the-art Lowe's home improvement store. The addition of Lowe's marks what I call the completion of the redevelopment of Hanover Avenue from what you probably recall from in the past was a bunch of shuttered, industrial, environmentally challenged, polluted sites to now probably, arguably, one of the premier retail shopping areas in this area. EDAC also launched a new website for our town. The planning board was truly busy this year with significant responsibilities. They conducted a major re-examination of the master plan. and development regulations. From a housing standpoint, they conducted significant studies, discussions, and negotiations involving the affordable housing obligation, which not only affected planning, but every one of these committee members trying to develop the best possible solution to a very challenging situation that we are given by the courts of the state of New Jersey. Eden Lane River Park redevelopment plan will be developed at some point. It will be a town center. It will have traditional Main Street design. There'll be housing above retail stores. There'll be walkable streets. There'll be outdoor dining opportunities. There'll be gathering opportunities for the entire community of Hanover Township. Open space is also very important. Planning helps support the acquisition of approximately 65 acres of open space, land owned by the New Jersey Department of Transportation. There will be a new 160-room AC Marriott hotel on Park Avenue in a part of town probably nobody even knows where it exists, Park Avenue in Columbia, replacing a former bank location. There'll be a little bit of excitement from a small business standpoint. We will be welcoming what's called Double Tap Brewing. They're converting the former Whippany Post Office, which I know this committee tried very hard and trying to convince the Postal Service, along with our former Congressman, Frelinghuysen, but unfortunately that didn't happen. Hanover, though, although it is the recipient of these court-ordered mandates, is not just sitting back saying, okay, we're going to go run off and do exactly what is required. We're trying to advance what we call real-world strategies to address these court mandates. Affordable housing is a challenge. Not something that we look for, not something that we said, hey, we want to develop lots and lots of areas in this town. Not true. The demands of the court are serious, and this committee has spent a significant amount of hours trying to develop the best possible solution given the challenges that were presented. What also should be noteworthy is this committee advanced 3 pieces of recommendations or legislation at what's called the Morris County League, and those 3 pieces of legislation are as follows. Number 1, no more unfunded mandates for density housing without transportation solutions and fundings to alleviate traffic impact. That was affirmed positive by the members of the league. So that's going to go to the next step in Trenton. Number 2, yes to providing affordable housing priorities first to those who serve us. Responders, fire, EMS, police, teachers. Yes to reinstating what had been part of the bedrock of affordable housing in the state of New Jersey, was to send funds to urban areas in desperate need of housing development called RCAs. So these 3 pieces of legislation have been approved by Morris County League, and now they go on to what they call the legislature. So what we'd ask of you, this committee asks of you, is to help us, and how you can help us best is to contact your assembly reps. You have 2 assembly representatives. Please contact them and let them know how you feel about what is being done in this area of affordable housing and what your thoughts are to make this more realistic and beneficial to the people who really need the affordable housing and the suburban communities. So Representative Jaycee, Representative McKeon, or U.S. State Senator, New Jersey State Senator Dick Cody, who was former governor. So please take the time. A phone call, a letter will mean a lot. Engineering. Engineering is the group that really focuses on preserving your infrastructure, and I call it roads and more. 10 municipal roads were resurfaced this year, 2.3 miles, and an investment of $1.6 million. That's a significant commitment. These road infrastructure improvements don't happen by themselves. Engineering leads it, but it's supported by Brian Ferrand's DPW, who steps up big time in terms of facilitating that improvement process. Number 2, HSA, Hanover Sewage Authority. They, led by Mike Wynn, they help TV all the under-road lines to ensure that we're ready for that to happen, and we're trying to get out in front of it. And lastly and importantly, coordination by our Chief of Police, Mark Roddy, whose complement is out there trying to keep us all safe as we move about during all of this road construction. And some of our utility companies who might not yet get it straight, we notify them when we're repaving a road, and it's in their interest to do all of their work prior to when we repave that road, because their failure to comply with that ordinance request that this township committee put into place necessitates them to repave a road if they disturb a road that we've repaved. We've upgraded parts of the Parsippany Road Bridge. We've completed major park improvements at Bee Meadow, helping with the new playground and the Veterans Park sidewalk system and Stony Brook Community Farm system as well. Engineering also has arborist activities, including preserving for the 13th year in a row Hanover Township's Tree City USA designation. Hanover Township's arborist also identifies and removes hazardous trees. We've been working very hard in terms of trying to remove the ash trees on the municipal properties. The arborist has served us in terms of conducting symposia at our library, teaching members of our public about the ash borer and what are the options they can do in terms of treating that ash borer. And lastly, when it comes to supporting recreational trails in Hanover Township, I think it's important to recognize that the engineering group has been influential in securing for this township $400,000 in funding from the county to support what we call a trail system around Bee Meadow Park. That is going to be, once it's completed, and Mr. Mahalko is working closely with us on that, one of the finest recreational areas that we're going to have in Hanover Township. Environmental Green Team. Township's very active there as well. Led by Dennis Wilson and Phil Glowy, Hanover's earned bronze certified community status for sustainability for this year. This group supported what's called the tree giveaway with the town's arborists. There were 100 trees available to members of the public. 83 trees were picked up, so if anybody's in need of a tree, contact our administration department. There might be one that you can still get. And I can also say that your environmental group championed awareness programs for special events that our police department ran in terms of the disposal of outdated RX medicine. Let's get that disposed properly as opposed to leaving it and putting it into municipal waste system. And for those of you who participated in the free paper shred day, we ran 2 free paper shred days. One in the spring, one in the fall. Over 3.5 tons of paper, much of it sensitive, were taken out of the waste stream at zero cost to the taxpayers of Hanover Township. So great job by that environmental action group. As for the last R, resolutions. I look forward to working this new year with my fellow committeemen to serve the people of Hanover Township. I look forward to working with the business administrator, the department heads, and the staff to ensure that Hanover Township remains a great, affordable place to live, work, and play.
Very good. Very good. Thank you, John. Appreciate it. Well, you guys got to be hungry. Son of a gun. A few remarks. Everyone says a few remarks, but a few remarks, truly. We'd be remiss if we didn't say, for Hanover, as we look toward 2020 in Hanover, we continue to enjoy the benefits and services of being one of the finest managed towns in Morris County, if not the state of New Jersey, I might add. We are respected for our stability, Admired for our debt-free policies, we remain fiscally sound, and now with some of the finest corporations in the county, if not the world at this time. Challenges? Yes. Hanover and our surrounding communities are being forced by the courts and legislators to accommodate hundreds upon hundreds of affordable housing units. Hanover significantly reduced this demand from 1,000 units to just over a few hundred. Hanover is one of the lowest settlements of fair share housing in the region because of complying with years of past co-around obligations. We've yet to address needed amenities for Hanover, such as parks, recreational areas, and so forth, that should be a part of these kinds of developments. Our rateable base has expanded greatly this year with such additional neighbors as John mentioned, Wegmans and Barclays Bank, Lowe's, and soon further good news expected from Bayer Corporation. Our open space inventory will swell. John mentioned the 65 acres of land, the former Route 24 right-of-way. That will be in our hands as soon as some remediation work is done. We continue to provide our residents with top-notch police, fire services, sanitation collections, and infrastructure improvements to meet all of our daily needs. So, on that. I'd be remiss if I didn't touch on our finance department. I've been given that responsibility, and I've been working with Silvio Esposito for that, who manages every dollar that's transacted in this township and draws taxes that operate our township from nearly $4 billion worth of quality ratables that are in this town. This year, Hanover received nearly $1 million, that's net, $1 million of income from hotel tax, room taxes alone. All this to keep your property taxes at the lowest in the county. We hope you'll enjoy the Stony Brook Farm. It's up and running. Denise and our Recreation Department doing a great job with that. A wonderful addition to the community, offering neighbors that don't have the opportunity of having backyards or gardens to grow one right here with us in the community garden. You can join us. You can take part in the community garden and have your own garden there by talking to the Recreation Department. They'll be happy to take care of you. Whippany Library remains the jewel of Hanover Township. They serve thousands of residents, young and old, on a yearly basis with programs, events, and activities. They're far more than just lending books. Follow them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on the web at www.whippanong.org. I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed personally working on the Board of Health this year. It's been an educational process for me, a learning process, an eye-opening process. Dr. Zabrowski, who chairs that board, along with our newly formed board, which is headed up also by Dr. Perez, who joins us on their county program, have been absolutely sensational. We've taken the lead, once again, Hanover has taken the lead in areas such as the issues that we're having with vaping and the smoking issues. The Board of Health, one of the few in the area, and others will follow us. And now the federal government has finally followed us to ban flavored smoking materials. So I applaud the Board of Health for that as well. On that note, I hope all the remarks that you've heard today are informative. I, too, want to thank somebody special from my family, and she's in the audience, and that's my wife, Carol, who for years has tolerated me and my involvement in Hanover. It's been a stressful time for us, but we're very, very proud of our town, and I'm very happy for the support of all of you here in our audience today, and I thank you very much for that. On that note, we want to introduce one guest that we've had with us that stayed through this entire program. It's absolutely fantastic. Montville Township's Republican County Committee Chairperson, Stephanie. Where are you? She just left? Okay, thank you.
On behalf of the Morris County Republican Committee, I'm also on the executive board there, from Laura Alley, who is the acting chair, And the rest of the board, congratulations.
Thank you very much from all of us.
To you and, of course, Ace.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Back to the administrator.
Okay. We have the next portion of business open to the public. Anyone wishing to address the Township Committee may do so by stepping up to the podium and giving their name and address for the record.
Hi. Hi, I'm Ed Abelus, Spruce Street in Cedar Knolls. In Ace's absence, he is liaison to the Cultural Arts Committee, and I would like to thank a bunch of people that I'm sure he would have thanked on behalf of the Cultural Arts Committee, so I'm here to do that. Completely unprepared, but when he walked out, I said I should. Anyway, first, Mike, thank you very much for acknowledging our upcoming Lunar New Year later this month on the 26th. We typically expect over 350 people to come to that event. It's a very fun event. We do a lot of cultural activities, from the music side of the Asian culture to the dress. We have, this year, we have 11 performers or people that are coming in to exhibit or discuss things, and there'll also be some food. There's always food at the end of our events to keep people interested in coming in. And to do this event is not something that we can do ourselves. We are very reliant on Denise in the Recreation Department and Tom Quirk for putting it all together for us and handling all of my last-minute demands. Thank you. And working with our people. Certainly, Brian, his group sets up everything, and it's more than just bringing in a blanket and moving some chairs around. It's a big event. We do things with hanging from the ceiling and everything else. So those people certainly have to be thanked for the Lunar New Year event that we do. Beyond that, we support, as a Cultural Arts Committee, the Hanover Wind Symphony, who's celebrating their 35th year this year. And the town has always supported them. It's been very, very good. We have been doing it through the Cultural Arts Committee. They have been an excellent resource and an excellent form of getting the name of Hanover Township out. We have performed, and I say we as because I'm a member, we have performed out of the state, within the state, all around the state for various groups, as well as offering free concerts within the township. We do 2 free concerts a year, and if you haven't been, you really should take advantage of that. Other than the Hanover Wind Symphony, we put on several events, bringing in outside people coming in. At the Recreation Center typically is where we have it. We've run programs for jazz performances. We had a Ukrainian festival celebration this year, which brought out a lot of people and also some great food. Had some really very, very interesting facts about Ukraine and how it's separated and all of the different cultural activities from the different sections of the Ukraine. So it was very educational. As a committee, we tried to do some educational aspects to all of our programs so that people walk away with more information and not just hearing music or something of that nature. They get an appreciation about what's happening. In the Jazz Festival this year, we talked about the development of jazz from New Orleans up to Mississippi and to Chicago, and how it spread down to New York, and the different styles, how they were adapted. Also, how the military and the wars that we were dealing with, who pulled people into the military, left a gap for musicians, and how small combos started and the smaller groups started and spread around. So there was a lot of interesting information that we try to bring in to all of our programs. The other thing that I wanted to mention was that we have this year started to inculcate and trying to put together some things to drag some of our educational the people, our students from the junior high school and the high school in. We had 2 master classes that we had, one for drums and another one for guitar that we ran, and we had people both in school ages and some outside adults who were interested in those classes from the township, who came to listen to some very, very excellent musicians and performers and educators talk about how they could improve their skills on the instruments that they like, whether it was drums, guitar. We plan to do that again this year for saxophone and for trumpet. And hopefully we'll get another large turnout for those types of events, trying to bring these activities and get more involved. One of the real problems that we have is finding members. As we have been an organization for over 25 years, I believe, and some of our members have been there the entire time, and they are aging out, and they are burned out, and we need to have more blood coming in. We have been dealing for the past several years with 2 openings. This year, I believe we're going to wind up with 2 more openings, unfortunately. So anybody who wants to join our organization, it's very interesting. It's an open forum. We talk about all types of events that we'd like to have, and somebody picks up one of them and goes out and helps make the arrangements, and it gets done. So we do need people from the audience, from the township, to help the township out in the development of its culture. Okay, that's all I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. By the way, on an ongoing basis, if you come down that hallway, you see these wonderful paintings, pictures, and photographs, etc., in the gallery that we have here.
Not today.
Not today? No, somebody made off with them. That's our Cultural Arts Committee who's managed that.
They weren't supposed to.
We're waiting for the next series of masterpieces out there. Very good. Joseph?
Anyone else wishing to speak? Yeah, we're going to ask, we're just going to ask that you limit your comments to 4 minutes, not more than that.
That's okay.
We have a 4-minute rule.
I'd like to be able to speak right from here because I'm getting home.
You want to talk from there, George? Stay there, George. Your foot, he just went under some surgery on his foot.
Get him
Don't
right.
even...
Bring the mic over to George. Bring the mic over to George.
Yeah. Stay right there. There you go.
Thank you.
That works.
Yeah. I would very much, on behalf of the seniors, 296 of us, of which I've served as president for the last 2 years, to say thank you to the committee for always being there to support us. I thank Committee Mike Mahalko, who is our liaison. Mike has come to all of our meetings, okay? He's not a senior, but he's there. But that's what's important. It's easy for me to say, you got a problem? See Mike. Okay, so it's really good. I thank the senior board. And I would also like to echo a special thanks to Denise Brennan, her staff, Brian Ferran, his staff. We really couldn't do without him. I even thank the PBA. The PBA this year sponsored our picnic. They paid for the whole thing, and it was really a real nice time. And as Committeeman Mahalko stated, the seniors do a lot of nice things throughout the year. I think we go to a lot of different events. We see a lot of dinner shows, and it's just a nice thing to be part of. So we welcome each and every one of you. Lastly, on behalf of 350 members of our Knights of Columbus, we say thank you so very much for everything the town does to support us, as well as our supporting them. We again thank Brian Ferran, Denise, Public Safety, and everyone for everything they do. We truly appreciate it. And I welcome our new president next year, which is Ken Oxley. Thank you. And on behalf of all of these people, we wish you all a very happy, healthy, and blessed New Year. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike, he just put his finger on the 4-minute clock. Go ahead.
Mike Chuknicki, 57 Oak Boulevard. I have the honor to be the chairman of the Landmark Commission. I've been the chairman for almost 10 years, which shows you that standards have clearly dropped.
You're doing a great job.
Mr. Giorgio said that our town is about to celebrate its 300th anniversary. And that rich history constantly amazes me in that I'm always being told things that shock me. This year, to celebrate, one of the things to celebrate the 300th anniversary of the town, we are going to celebrate a magic number. We are going to celebrate the number 76. In America, 76 is a magic number. This year will be the 76th anniversary of D-Day. And we are going to honor that event in the Whippany Burying Yard on June 6th. And one of the things that shocked me, that when I learned it, surprised me, was that Whippany was called the Silent Village in World War II, because basically, if you could serve, you did. And I have learned that one of our neighbors actually went ashore at Normandy and fought for 51 straight days. And he's still here with us. And so I've explained to him that on June 6th, I expect him to be in the Whippany Burying Yard so that we can give him the honor he so richly deserves. But Chet Koshin, at one point in the 50 days, took a bullet in the throat. And the medic said they only had one bandage. And Chet said, not a problem. You put the bandage on the bigger hole, and he continued fighting. And what is wonderful is that he is not that much different than so many of my neighbors who have served, including all of you on the committee. So, Happy New Year to all of you, and thank you.
Happy New Year. Thank you, Michael, and Happy New Year to you.
Anyone
Floor
else
remains
wishing to
open.
Speak?
Seeing none, hearing none. Motion to close?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Administrator?
Ladies and gentlemen, I would ask you to stand for the blessing and benediction given by Reverend Sarah Karate of the First Presbyterian Church of Whippany.
Oh, thank you. Let us pray. God of our lives, we give you thanks for this community and the joy that it brings to our lives, for the ways that we serve one another. Strengthen us. Let us continue in good service, that we might all know together joy and peace in this new year. This we pray in your holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend Karate. Thank you very much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have a formal motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second? Second. All in favor? Aye. This reorganization meeting is adjourned, and please join us for some food.
Let him sign the
Yes. Anyone wishing to be sworn in, please see Kathy I. Clusie.
I'll be in 80-degree weather.
Can you put it on the website?
Yes, it'll be on the website. Hopefully I'll be in 80-degree weather.
Yeah. Just got the invitation today. I have it in my mailbox. Say hi to Judy. I can't wait to say hi.
Yourselves, Happy New Year, sir. Happy and healthy New Year.
Perfect.